It-
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Well, I figured I'd do a pocket speech with a little time to prepare, and I'm gonna actually do this relationship tool on YouTube here pretty soon. So I thought, hey, may as well practice again. I looked in my Toastmasters file and gave this speech over a year and a half ago. So I thought, hey, I'll just use the same material and we're good to go. I could tell how much I'd grown because it was straight up trash. So I'd re-scrap the whole thing. So with that being said, I'll begin. Remember the last time that you really were experiencing some negative emotions? What was that event? Were you really upset? Imagine, what were you so frustrated about? Who really pissed you off? Think about what disappointed you in that event. What were you so sad about with that particular situation? Recall any worries or concerns you had. What were you most afraid of in that situation? What were you sorry about? Was there anything that you wish wouldn't have happened? When you're experiencing negative emotions for over 20 minutes, it's probably time to write a feeling letter. So today I want to share with you a relationship tool that can share with you how you can express those negative emotions on paper rather than expressing them to a friend, a family member, a partner, and risking that relationship. So let's get started. When you're feeling upset, it's time to write a feeling letter. The first step is you got to decide who you want to write it to. This could be that friend or family member, a significant other that caused that fight, that rift in the relationship. You could even write it to yourself, to God, to an organization. Find who you need to write this feeling letter to that's causing those big emotions. Then you're going to write your letter. You start off with anger. Put on paper what's frustrating you, what's really making you so mad. Write down all of your criticism, your blame, your judgment. Put it out on paper. Next, you're going to move to sadness and disappointment. As you naturally go through these emotions, you're going to feel that fear, surveying your heart to see, am I worried or concerned about anything? Then you're going to move to sorrow. Now, sorrow is a different emotion because we have things we're sorry for, we have things that we're sorry about. So, in that letter, survey that situation. Is there anything that you regret? Or just maybe something you're sorry about that really wasn't anyone's fault? Now you're going to sign your name. That's step one. Then you're going to move to step two of the feeling letter process, which is their response. But this is going to require a little bit of imagination because you're going to imagine them responding to you in the way that you want and need to hear that response to get that closure. So I can just hear you. Clay, that would never work. My grandfather's been dead for 20 years. Or, you don't know my husband. He would never be that supportive. Imagination. So imagining them writing you a response letter. Would you want them to apologize? Would they validate your feelings? Maybe they would make some promises and some commitments. Maybe they would ask for your forgiveness. In imagining that response, have them say something loving about you and sign their name. Okay, you imagine that happening. Now we're time to move to part three. And part three is writing a response to their response. Dear so and so, thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for apologizing. Thank you for acknowledging what you did wrong. I understand maybe where you were coming from. I forgive you for. And hey, sometimes we're not in a place of forgiveness. That's okay. Maybe it's I want to forgive you for. And be specific. Finish your letter, sign your name. Now, what happens is the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between an imagined event and a real event. So you just gave it two stories, the real story that happened, which sucked, and the positive story, which is supportive and kind and gave you that forgiveness that you need. Which story do you think your unconscious mind is going to create? That's right. It's going to pick the supportive story, which is going to provide you that healing you need. Now, why is this a relationship tool? Well, whenever we express our negative emotion, change another person, like in a relationship with a significant other, that's going to ensue resentment and defensiveness. So I recommend dealing with all of those emotions first, getting them out of the way, then have that conversation with the person that hurt you, stating your boundaries, asking for them to change, whatever it is. And without those negative emotions, sending them in fight or flight, they're going to be able to respond without defensiveness and hear what you're saying and actually want to be willing to make some changes to better support you. So today, I want to inspire you to utilize this relationship tool for yourself, for friends or family, when those big emotions surface. Process those first. Then we can talk to that person that caused that pain and find forgiveness so we can reconnect with them, whether in our head, if they died 20 years ago, or if it's an organization, or with our significant other sitting on the couch that we're sitting on. So I highly recommend you apply this tool. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.
Good job.